I really feel like this month, every sermon we have this month, I'm really excited about. God's just been really talking to me about some things, and so tonight, hey, Jason, will you go get the book that's on my desk? It's really big, it's black with like red stitching. It's on my desk, right? Let's see. All right, okay. So, we're going to do a series called Make War, and tonight I'm going to jump off of something that's written in the book, The Art of War. Okay? So, this is a book written by this Chinese guy that was like awesome at winning wars. And so, we're going to look in this book. And so, in your fill in the blanks today, we're going to read from a page from this book. I think it's super cool. So, anybody ever read this?
I own it.
Eric owns it.
But have you read it?
That's why Eric is awesome at winning wars too. All right, so, okay, it says this. It says, thus we say that if you know yourself and know your what? We go that slide, please, Jen.
What?
Slide.
Sorry.
All right, if you know yourself and know your what? Enemy. It says you will gain victory 100 times out of 100. If you know yourself but do not know your enemy, you will meet one defeat for every one victory. If you know neither yourself nor your enemy, you will never be victorious. Okay, so it said, if you know yourself and know your what? Enemy. So we're going to be talking about spiritual warfare. And in this book, it's not talking about spiritual warfare or the devil or anything. It's talking about real war. But there's some concepts in that book that make a lot of sense. And it says to know your enemy. And so, if you're going to win in life, if you're going to overcome the devil's attacks in your life, if you're going to get through certain valleys that you may be going through in your life, it all starts with knowing who the enemy is. And so, tonight we're going to look at that. So in 1 Peter 5:8 it says this. It says, stay alert. Everyone say alert.
Alert.
Stay alert, because Pastor Isaac is preaching. No, it says stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. Who's your enemy?
Devil.
Anybody know another name for the devil? Satan. Okay, so in the Bible, it talks about who the enemy is. And so tonight I want to tell you tonight that the devil or Satan is a real person. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that go to church or claim to be Christians, but they act like the devil's not really real. There's a lot of people that don't believe that hell is real. They believe in heaven, but they don't believe in hell. It's really weird. Okay? And I want to tell you tonight that the devil is a real person. Okay? And we're going to look at that tonight. And so, and we must be the Bible says that we must be very careful, stay alert, and watch out, because he's real. Okay? So point number one tonight, if you're taking notes, is this. The enemy has power. The enemy has power. Now I know this goes against everything you were taught in Sunday school, you know, that he's under our feet, he's under our feet. Anyone ever go to Children's Church? No, nobody went to Children's Church apparently. Yeah, okay, you know that song? Yeah, okay. So, I know this goes against everything that you guys have been taught, but tonight I want to tell you that the enemy has power. He has power. And so we're going to look at 2 Corinthians 4:4, and it says this. Satan, who is the what? God. Who is the God of this world. Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. See, if you don't believe the devil is real, then I want to tell you, all you have to do is look at media. Okay? That's all you have to do is look at media. See, the enemy is in control of everything we see and hear. The enemy is in control of all the social trends all the way down to who you should vote for, or we will riot in the street. Media has a message it wants you to believe. See, if you don't believe the enemy is real, just look at the moral state of our nation, okay? I want to tell you guys this, that 3 times more babies are killed each year in America than the number of Americans who died in World War I. In fact, in the past 3 years, we've killed more babies in America than the number of Americans who have died in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and Vietnam combined. That's how many babies we've killed in America. See, this is American soldiers' deaths, not total deaths, okay? But American soldiers' deaths of all those wars, Civil War, World War I, World War II, and Vietnam, is 2,357,245. Number of babies we've killed in the last 3 years, 2,892,240. So if you don't believe that the enemy is a real person, all you have to do is look at the moral state of our country. We have killed more babies in 3 years than American soldiers have died in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and Vietnam combined in 3 years. How many babies has America killed in the last 30? So if you don't believe that there's an enemy, all you have to do is look at the moral state of our nation. See, the Bible says that Satan, the god of this world, has blinded the mind of those who don't believe. And right now, people will riot in the street for the right to continue to kill babies. And they believe they are 100% right because their mind has been blinded by an enemy that they don't acknowledge exists. See, the devil is very real and has power. In fact, in Ephesians 6:12 it says this, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood, enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the" what? Unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, against evil spirits in heavenly places. We are at war with the enemy whether we want to acknowledge it or not. Guys, I want to tell you that there is a whole other world going on around you that you can't see. But the enemy wants you to just think that, oh, like, the devil's not really real or doesn't really do anything. See, if you don't recognize that there's an enemy, if you just float by doing whatever you want, then you are not a threat to the enemy because he has you right where he wants you, doing nothing because you don't live for Jesus. He wins. See, there's a very real enemy. And in John 10:10 it says this. The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life. See, God wants to give you the satisfying life, but the enemy wants to steal it and destroy it from you. And the Bible literally says he blinds our eyes to the things that are really going on. How can he blind our eyes? See, it's okay, it doesn't really matter. It's not hurting anyone. And so there's churches all over America today that believe, the people in it believe they're actually Christians, but they don't live for Jesus at all because they believe the lie that the enemy has told them that nothing really matters. And it does. What you do, it matters. See, God wants to give you the satisfying life, but the enemy wants to steal it from you. Point number 2, the enemy has no good in him. The enemy has no good in him at all. In fact, in John 8:44, it says this, "For you are the children of your father, the devil. You love to do the evil things he does. He was a murderer from the beginning. He always hated the truth, because there's no truth in him. And when he lies, it is consistent with his character, for he's a liar and the father of lies." He's the father of lies. He wants you to believe that everything you watch and everything you listen to is okay. See, does no one else think it's a little strange that in America today, the gay, bi, and transgender community make up less than 3% of the population, but 95% of TV shows has a character that's one of those? Nobody else thinks that's kind of strange? Why? Because there's a message they want you to hear. There's a message being pushed by media that it wants you to hear. Is it strange that 90% of the music that you listen to talks about relationships or sex? Because there's a message it wants you to hear. So the enemy has power, and he wants you to hear the message. He wants you to believe this. He wants you to believe that. And the Bible says he's going to blind your eyes that you will get to a place where you'll say, well, that doesn't really matter. Oh, it does. See, he's a liar, and he wants you to believe that everything you watch and everything you listen to is okay. 1 John 5:19 says, "We know that we are children of God, and that the world around us is under the control of the evil one." The Bible literally tells you that the world around you is under control of someone other than God. The things you watch, the things you listen to. I mean, literally, all you have to do is go on Snapchat, and the message they are pushing on Snapchat is 100% lopsided. It is one message they're pushing. Anti-Trump, anti-all this other stuff. One message that it wants to tell you. If it was really just sharing news, it would give you both sides. It doesn't. There's a message that media wants you to know, and it is pushing it. And the thing is, when you don't acknowledge that the enemy exists, you take the bait and you begin to change the way you think, you begin to change the way you act, and you begin to change the way you feel. Because everything's okay. The Bible literally says that the world around us is under the control of the devil. So what does this mean for us? If the devil's really this powerful, what does it mean for us? Point number 3, the enemy only has power over us when we allow it. The enemy only has power over you when you allow it. In Luke 19:20 it says this, "Look, I've given you" what? Authority over the power of the enemy. You can walk among snakes and scorpions and crush them. Nothing will injure you. But don't rejoice because of evil spirits obey you. Rejoice because your names are registered in heaven. God literally says, you know what? I give you authority. The enemy can't hurt you unless you allow him to. But don't be fooled in thinking that he just has no power, because that's not true. So Jesus gave us authority over the enemy, but that means we have to do something about it. We have to do something. James 4:7 says this, "So humble yourselves before God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." What do you have to do? Resist the devil and he'll flee from you. Come close to God and he will come close to you. Some of you guys have never experienced God because you haven't allowed God to do something in your life. It goes on and it says, wash your hands, you sinners, purify your hearts, for your loyalty is divided between God and the world. So I've been reading all these books. Like, you can go look in my office. I have right now 4 books that I'm reading, all of them on spiritual warfare. But it's funny because the underlying theme in all of them is that your loyalty cannot be divided between God and the world. The second you divide your loyalty, the enemy has power in your life. Well, I'll tell you that you don't have to be sick. You don't have to be addicted to things. You don't have to be going through depression. You don't have to be going through these hard times in your life. God gave you authority over them, but as long as you are going to do the things the world says, as long as you aren't going to acknowledge that there's actually a devil, as long as you begin to believe the lie, then you will never win the war. My biggest pet peeve in America right now is that we won't acknowledge where ISIS is coming from. And because they won't acknowledge the enemy, they can't fight it. I want to tell you, in your life, if you want things to change in your life, you have to begin to acknowledge the things in your life that you shouldn't be doing. You cannot be in relationship with God and the world at the same time. Think about it real quick, and we're going to talk about this in like 5 weeks, but I'm going to go ahead and share it now. Think about it for a second. Everyone always says, well, God's grace is enough. I don't think you understand what grace is. Imagine for a second, grace is a relationship. All you ladies in the room, you are going to marry Mr. Grace. You cannot be married to Mr. Grace and still be in a relationship with your old boyfriend. And this is the problem. This is what's happening. We are losing in our life. The enemy is stealing in our life. And the reason is because we still have relationship with the devil, and we're allowing him into our life by the things we do, by the things we say, by the things we listen to, by the way we act. And because we won't live for Jesus, we never experience the freedom of being in a relationship with Jesus because we're in a relationship with both worlds. If you are going to be a Christian, it means you have to be in a relationship with Jesus, which means you are loyal to him and him only. I do not hand out my number to women. Why? Because I am loyal to Pastor Crystal. Well, we want to say we're loyal to Jesus, yet we hand our number out to everything. We allow whatever in our life. It's okay. It's not hurting anybody. Don't tell me how to live my life. I'm telling you right now, that way of thinking is allowing the enemy in. And so, it goes on, and it says in 1 Peter 5:8, we already looked at this, stay alert, watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. The New King James says, looking for someone who he may devour. That means the enemy can only attack you if you've opened up a window in your life to let him in. Any Walking Dead fans in here? Now, the new seasons drive me crazy because they're not afraid of the zombies at all. But the original seasons were awesome. And so they literally would check all the doors and the windows. And they would make sure there's no light getting out because the zombies would come. Remember that? Anyone remember season 1, 2? Yeah? Okay. And so they would check all the windows and make sure the zombies wouldn't see the light. That's what we got to do in our life. We got to lock all the doors so the enemy can't get in. Check all the windows. Make sure he can't get in. But what's happening is we say, oh, it's okay. We just open up the door. I'm going to bed. See you. Good night. Oh, no zombies are going to come in. It's okay. And that's exactly what we do in our life. And the enemy wants to steal from you. You want to know how I know the enemy is winning right now? When I was your age, in the grade that you are in right now, cutting wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even a thing. We would never do that. John, I talked to someone just last week. It looked like she had put her arm into a shredder. I was like, what in the world? Because they've allowed the enemy to lie to you about who you really are, how important you really are, the value that you really have. We just open the door and let the enemy do whatever he wants in your life. And I want to tell you that if you want to see God do something in your school, you want to see God do something in your home, you want to see God do something in your life, this is not like when I was in middle school. You are going to have to actually fight for what you believe. You will actually have to go to war with the enemy. See, John 10:10 said that the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But my purpose is to give you a rich and satisfying life. And my question for you tonight is, have you taken the bait? Have you taken the bait? Have you believed the lies of the enemy? Are you unfulfilled? Are you struggling to get by? See, the life that God intended for us is one that is rich and satisfying. But we have to resist the devil. In fact, we have to go to war. I've spent countless hours praying for you guys in this room. And I had to tell the devil, you are not allowed in my building. Whatever you guys are going through, the second you walk through the door, the things you're going through have to stay outside. You're not welcome in my building because God's word says I have authority over the enemy. So guess what? Get out! But guys, I want to tell you, if you're going to not even acknowledge that the enemy is real, he's just going to steal from you all day. So tonight, I want you to think about it this week. Is there really an enemy that has power? And have we left the door wide open? Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for tonight. God, we thank you for the chance to come and dive into your word. Lord God, we just want to begin to shut the door to things in our life, Lord God. God, your word says that if we resist the devil, he'll flee from us. God, tonight, the people in this room that may be going through some things, that may be stuck in a rut, that may be weighed down with all the issues that they're having to go through in life, those aren't things that you intended for us. So God, tonight I pray that we begin to reject the lie of the enemy, and instead we would search for the truth that's in you. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Amen. We'll see you guys next week. We're going to talk about where the battleground is next week. So make sure you guys are here. It's really important.
Will you fill this in for me? I don't know.